Do you ever feel like you're the only one on the water who has a hard time getting up on foil? Everyone else is foiling around, having a good time, and somehow they seem to have more wind than you. Today I want to talk about gear choices and why many times bigger is better. If you enjoy my videos, please like and subscribe. Welcome to Wind Addict. I feel like this is a problem in wind water sports that has been there for a long time and that is not talked about enough. I've encountered it many times during my time as a windsurfer. It's the same thing in wingfoiling. You always compare yourself to others, right? You see the others, your friends or other people on the water, and you see what they are doing and what kind of gear they ride. Sometimes you can see it even from afar on their wings, what the number is, or you talk to them about it. And there's this common perception that you will hear in comments from other wingfoilers many times that smaller is better, right? Ideally, you want to be out there with the smallest foil and the smallest wing, because then you're going to have the most fun, and only then you're like truly skilled and enjoying the sport as you're supposed to. For me, my personal golden rule is rather go a little bit too big than a little bit too small. With gear that's too small, you can ruin a session. Like, you're going to drastically reduce the time that you're up on foil. And if your gear is slightly too big, then yeah, you're going to be overpowered. So maybe, your arms get tired, or you cannot have a 2 or 3 hour session, but you're still going to have a good time. That's also one of the reasons why I like to wingfoil with a harness, because even if your wing is slightly too big or you are too overpowered, you can just hook in and rest your arms and shoulders for a little bit. And these comments that you get from other wingfoilers, what wings they were using and what was good enough, you always have to take them with a grain of salt. Your first question back should be, what is your weight? Because that has a massive, massive impact. Myself, I weigh 88 kilos, so I'm on the heavier side. So when someone with 70 kilos gets off the water and tells me that a 4 square meter wing is enough, I know that I might even struggle with a 5. I would even go as far as saying the sport is a different one for really lightweight people. Other factors that are very important and that will dictate how small you can go with your gear is the wind forecasts, and also your knowledge of the local conditions, with the wind direction and type of wind forecast that you see, whether it's cloudy or sunny. As you get more and more experience at any given spot, you kind of know what to expect. And you also know if typically the wind can drop suddenly. But sometimes even the forecast is just plain wrong. So you're never really sure. So bigger gear is your insurance against not knowing the local conditions well or a bad forecast. And the other element that dictates how small you can go with your gear is how far away is your bigger gear and how long is it going to take you to switch to bigger gear if you have to. Is your car parked really close to the beach? But that alone may not be enough, because if your gear is too small and you drift downwind, then it might still be a long walk of shame to get back to your car. And of course, how much time overall do you have? Typically, when I do my wingfoiling sessions, my wife is alone at home with our 2 little girls and has to take care of them. So I want to make sure that I use my time efficiently and that I get back and can help with our girls as fast as I can. So I don't have the luxury of just, sitting there and making all kinds of wrong gear choices and taking forever with my sessions. I want to have fun from the start. An interesting development, of course, are the new narrower downwind foil boards that can be, around 21 inches wide. And of course, to get flying earlier, so that may allow you to run smaller foils and smaller wings. But I count that again as big gear. These boards typically have 100 or more liters of volume, and they're fairly long. I recently got a Gong Cruzader narrow downwind board, and when I used it for the first time, it was very little wind and it went up and down and it was gusty. I didn't expect to fly at all, and then all of a sudden a little gust just got me flying, and I was really surprised by it.
No way. This is ridiculous.
Those boards alone are not doing magic, so they will slightly increase your light wind abilities, but you also need to run typically bigger foils to really get the most out of their light wind abilities. And of course, pumping technique plays a role as well, but yeah, it does that for everyone. And unless, you're out on a really regular basis, like weekly or more, then, conditions are different every time. You may be on different gear. You're not going to always have the perfect pumping technique, and that's okay. That's fine. So my message to the bigger guys is really make sure that you take advice on gear size on any given day only by people that have similar weight than you do, or ask them about their weight and make some calculations in your head to correct for what they're saying. So I hope to see many comments from you, and I'll see you in the next one.